with a pack on his back. And he had most of his customers were in the area around the Michigan and Junction area, which was a big Polish settlement area. And he used to do custom peddling. In other words, he would have customers that would give him an order. People that were immigrants, they didn't have the department stores. He would take their order, he would fill the order, come back and deliver the goods. So a few years after the girls grew up, my sisters grew up, he opened a store, a dry goods store, on Hastings near Winder. And Minnie and my sister Lee used to work in the store. I think Minnie worked there about a year before she met Nate. And the minute she got married, why, she quit working. And Nate was working in a factory when they met. And after they got married, he opened up this first candy store.
There a little bit more about Nate and his personality. We've heard lots of stories.
Personality?
He was a pretty strong man that he.
He was very, very friendly, very outgoing, and everybody liked to come into the store. He was talking to everybody. I mean, he was very friendly with everybody. But like you say, as a worker, I mean, all I had to do was do the work, and there was there was nothing special that you had to do. I mean, except that when the customers were there, you had to be able to take care of them.
Were there? You said you don't remember customers specifically, but were there?
Pardon?
You said you didn't remember any customers or characters specifically, but were there certain nights where were there card games that went on, or anything else that people came in for? Do you remember that, or was it all?
They just came in for ice cream, just for either soda or sundae or whatever they would order. There was no card games.
One of the ladies that we talked to thought she remembered a pinochle game in the back of the store.
No, nothing, nothing like that.
Okay.
Nothing like that. No. The only thing that was that when I worked in the store, there was nothing in the back going on at all.
Telephone? Did they have a public phone or anything?
A what?
Hold on one second. Wait, the plane.
Not during the time I worked there. Nothing like that. That might have been later on. I don't know.
But you don't remember any stories like that?
No,
where there
nothing
were
like that.
regulars or the
Nothing
kids would
like
come
that.
around and hang out. Was Nate ever having to chase kids out of the store? Because I mean, there's talk that 12th Street had some bad characters and the Purple Gang.
No,
and all that.
no, Purple Gang had nothing to do with the. I mean, the Purple Gang is going back to Hastings Street. Yeah, that was before they were on 12th Street.
12th Street. My cousin Charlie was part of that.
Yeah, the Purple Gang used to hang around. Some of the businesses, like Cream of Michigan, there used to be a dining place called Cream of Michigan. A lot of the characters used to hang around there, but not the candy store. Right. I mean, there was no. As far as there was no, let's say Nate would not tolerate that in the store, having something like that going on. And on 12th Street, it never happened when I was there.
Okay. CJ, anything else that you could?
Yeah. Do you want to go into? Do you remember any of the specials? I mean, Max went on, and another gentleman went on about the 2 cents plane, and one of the gentlemen even remembered a little Sosin soda jingle that nobody else heard of before.
Nothing like that.
Do you remember some of the products? I mean,
Well,
some
How
of
much
the
everything
regulars
was?
talked right to Nance.
Well, I mean, they come in for a soda. I mean, they have a 5-cent soda or chocolate soda. I mean, that was the one of the drinks that they had, but there was nothing, no special menus that they had. I mean, they just ordinary whatever. You walked into a soda fountain. I mean, whatever was on whatever he had listed. I mean, they could order anything they wanted. There was nothing, no special deals.
Another thing we've talked about with people, and this will be kind of my last thought on this, was we talked a little bit how the Jewish neighborhood started to break off and move out to the suburbs, and I know that really happened as they moved out to the Dexter store, but did you start to see some of that going on where
At that time?
Well, I mean, we almost had, it was like almost a little Jewish ghetto, and then people started to migrate out. Did you see that?
Not that much.
No.
No, I mean, the 12th Street area and the Dexter area was very similar. I mean, people that lived in the 12th Street area lived there, and people that lived in the Dexter area lived there. I mean, there was no great difference in the type of people that lived in the one area or the other area. Because from there, I mean, from there they jumped out to the northwest section, was around, 7 Mile and Wyoming and stuff in there. But I mean, for years, I mean, that neighborhood was very stable.
Good. Anything else you can think of?
That's about it.
Ann, anything that you think?
Don't you want to ask her about the store in Richton?
He didn't work there.
He said he was.
Oh, you didn't work in
He
Richton?
didn't work in Richton.
Oh, excuse me, that's what
Neither
you
did
wanted.
I.
Oh, that's what
Yeah,
you wanted.
Alan-
Ann, do you remember anything
What store?
that
No,
Sam
the
talked
Dexter.
about?
In fact, it's
Before
exactly,
his time, before her time.
exactly the way that Sam told it.
Mhm.
It didn't have any of the surprising when you talk about the Purple Gang or so, I had a cousin who was an active member of the Purple Gang, but Nate's and his drugstore were
Candy
clean.
store.
Candy store.
Right, but that's.
It was clean.
One of the stories that we heard was that he chased him out. He wouldn't.
That's right.
He sort of said that he wouldn't tolerate.
He wouldn't
He
tolerate
wouldn't
that.
tolerate
No,
it.
he wouldn't tolerate
If there
that.
was someone who used the telephone as a bookie or something, I
No,
don't-
he wouldn't. They wouldn't.
would-
They
he
couldn't
wouldn't-
use it there as a. They couldn't use it as a bookie. There was nothing.
But as far as Sam
The,
was concerned,
the only. This was before the time I worked in the store when he was on Theodore and Hastings. I remember they used to have some slot machines in the back of the store. Separate, and people would come in and play slot machines which were illegal, and the prizes used to be maybe I don't know whether he paid money or just gave him something, as a if they won something. I mean, it would be, but this was only. I never spent that much time in the store there, so I wouldn't know what was going on.
Okay. Well, you did good.
Yeah, thank you. That's enough?
Yep.
All right.
Dinner, I'm gonna have to cook this man tonight to make up for this, huh?
we should take him out.
No, you're doing us enough.
Okay, you're gonna talk right to Nancy.
Right, okay.
All
There
right.
you go.
Just first of all, tell me what your connection is with Sosin Soda, as if I don't know who you are.
I see. All right. You want to know my name? Norman Sukenic. I am the brother of Minnie Sosin. Nate Sosin, or Sholem, was my brother-in-law. I remember the first memory I have of them was when Minnie got married. I was 5 years old, and I was not at the ceremony. My sister Fanny Sholem had to bring me after the ceremony was over. She brought me over to the synagogue, and we had the dinner.
You know what? I think you're.
Okay.
This is-
And
Okay. Can you
Okay.
start that question again? Just tell me your connection with the Sosin family.
All right, my name is Norman Sukenic, and I'm Minnie Sosin's brother. Nate was my brother-in-law. And I remember the first collection I have of the Sosins was when Minnie got married. I was 5 years old at the time, and Minnie must have been about 20. But I didn't go to the ceremony because I was too small to bring to the ceremony. So my sister Fanny, who had all the dirty work, was left home to bring me afterward, after the ceremony was over, to come for the dinner. After that, my next recollection was, I think the best one would be that after Hilbert was born, Minnie put him in the buggy outside the house. And we lived on Division Street, that's right. And the Blooms, who was a cousin to Nate, lived across the street, about 2 houses down across the street, and upstairs in a 2-flat. And I think Nate must have been visiting over there. And they left Hilbert out in the buggy in front of the house on Division Street. And I happened to notice that a drunk came by and started messing around with the buggy. So I ran across the street and called Nate. And he came over and he had a fist fight with the man. And that was, well, it must have been in 1921 or something like that. And Sam gave you most of the details about the house we lived in and so forth, and the family, and anything else that you want to know. After that was, you have to skip over to when I went to work there, I guess.
Okay, well, let me, what you
Go
do
ahead.
remember about your sister as a married woman, how would you describe her? When you did remember her a little, later on, as what kind of person was she?
Well, she was a very devoted mother, that's for sure, and a devoted wife because she worked with her husband all the time. And as far as I can remember, Minnie worked in the store until just before Janet was born, as far as I can remember. So that goes quite a number of years. I babysat, before I started working in the store, I babysat a couple of times for the boys on 12th Street. And in fact, I think I slept over one night, and I'm trying to think, I couldn't fall asleep because the streetcar used to go by every once in a while, and the noise kept me awake. And the reason why I did that, that's right, they had a wedding or something that came home late. So rather than send me home at that hour, I was too young yet to go by myself, so I stayed over and slept there that night. It was a rough deal trying to sleep there. But otherwise, that's about the main thing with their married life. They were very devoted to each other.
How was she in the store? Was she an outgoing person? Was she reserved?
Minnie was always reserved. Always. She used to take care of the customers and so forth. She was friendly with them, but she was never outgoing. Let me put it that way. You had to engage her in conversation. That was her nature. And I think that's more or less, most of the Sukenics are that way.
Good. All right. So now you come to work in the store, and you've heard the stories from your older brother, and
Right.
what do you think? Are you ready for it when you come to work?
Well, I was going to high school at the time, and I hadn't even turned 15 years old, that's right. I started working there in October of 1930, before I was 15 years old. And like Sam says, I used to come in at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and work until 11 o'clock at night. That was 4 days a week because Friday night I didn't work. Used to come in Saturday night after the Sabbath. And then Sunday I used to come in from 11 to 11 for $5 a week. And Nate was always an exacting boss. There's no question about it. But still, he was good-hearted. In other words, if you wanted anything to eat in the store while you're working there, go ahead. There's no question about it. And it was a busy store.
Would he pick at you and keep an eye on the way you were making your cones and stuff like that? I mean, was it?
Yes. If he used to put too much ice cream in there, he used to complain to you.
Let me start it again. Let me hear that again. Was there That he used to watch.
Yes, he used to watch how you were making your ice cream cones and your sodas. If you used to put too much ice cream, he used to let you know about it, because he had it pretty well measured out how much a can of ice cream used to last, and he didn't want you to be over generous. Especially another thing too. In those days, we used to sell our ice cream in a pints and a quarts. We used to pack it ourselves. And you had to know how to pack it, because ice cream is soft. And if you push down, you can put in practically a quart of ice cream in a pint if you push too hard. So you have to watch yourself. You have to know how to handle your scoop and everything else. Yeah, he was exacting about that. Right.
They call that quality control now.
Mm-hmm.
He was a shrewd businessman, would you?
Yes, he was a good businessman. That's right.
Not
Yeah.
very trusting though. Tell me about that.
As far as trusting, you mean employees and so forth? Max, he always trusted. And after I worked there for about 4 or 5 years, he used to trust me. But he was careful about who he trusted. That's very true. Because in those days, don't forget, that's a penny business. And you're talking about the drinks. The drinks used to be a fountain glass, about this tall. 2 cents seltzer they used to cost. And if you wanted syrup in a seltzer, it was 5 cents. You could get chocolate syrup, strawberry or raspberry or anything like that. Minnie used to make the chocolate syrup upstairs. The rest of the syrups they used to buy in containers and dilute them as they needed. And I started working there. The store setup was like Sam says, with the cigarette and the cigars as you walk into your right. And the fountain was further back on the same section to your right. Across from that, they had a little display section where they used to have candies, box candies, and that kind of stuff. Afterwards, Nate redid the store. He put in more booths. He tore out the old fountain and put the new fountain right across the section from the cigars and cigarettes up in front, right by the front window. And there was a bigger fountain, and also at that time he started putting in a few sandwiches, tuna fish and that kind of stuff, cheese sandwiches. And I forget what year it was. I can't remember exactly. But it was a very busy place, especially in the summertime.
Describe the crowd on a Saturday night. What would it be like?
Saturday night, I didn't pay too much attention whether it was, I didn't have time to pay attention whether it's busy or not. Because when I used to get behind the fountain, it was taking orders and dishing out, picking up the glasses and washing them and putting them away, and you have to go from one customer to another. At times, I'll tell you this, frankly, at times at 7 o'clock at night, you start taking orders. You didn't have time to look up and see who you were talking to. You just, until 11 o'clock, you just dished it out. Either all across the fountain or run to the booth, get an order and fill it and bring it back. And he sold a lot of ice cream, Sundays, sodas, milkshakes, Boston coolers, banana splits, and that stuff. And it was a very, very busy store, especially like I say, in the summertime is from 7 to 11. You just didn't know who was there or what was there, and it used to keep you busy, running all the time.
Now, we've heard the story that 11 o'clock rolled around, you wouldn't necessarily close up shop if there were...
Oh, no, it never closed the store until 1 o'clock.
Oh.
Huh? But at 11 o'clock, the trade used to drop off. You used to get customers after that, but not as frequently. You had more time to relax a little bit and more time to see what was going on. after that. In the wintertime, when things were slowed down, then you used to see the different people that came. And they had quite a few really, not so many girls, young women, but there were a couple. But the young men, a group of fellows that used to call themselves Jolly Elites, and Max was a member of them. And these were men who had come over from Europe. They come over maybe but when they were about 13, 14 years old, and actually they banded together because they knew how to speak to each other and they associated with each other. Nice young men. There was nothing. I knew quite a number of them at that time. Most of them went into business. There were different businesses, and they used to get together at the store and meet at the store. And most of them used to bring their future brides in at the store. And like I say, the women didn't hang around too much. The only time when I used to see them mostly was when the men used to bring them.
Now, you told us that Max did a little courting in the store. Is that true?
Ruth used to come in, and she would stay there until Max would finish work. And then go out with him, yes. But I don't know if he courted her or she used to just stay there, period. But she used to sit at the counter and just stay there. And Max, most of the time, did not work behind the counter. Max worked at the cigarettes and cigar counter. And as far as there, they used to have a little dice game going every once in a while. There were certain customers who used to come in, they play for cigarettes or cigars. They play against the house. And Max used to run that, and Nate used to run that. So they were busy at that counter, and Ruth used to stay until he finished up.
Were customers allowed to linger, or did Nate have a way of moving people on?
Generally, we didn't have too much trouble with lingering customers. We did have a couple. See, I worked there for 6 years.
But I think Max gave the expression to the booths, and
Yeah, we used to try and get them off the floor. We used to get the youngsters that hung around into one of the booths or something like that. Of course, at night we don't want them there. It's just during the day. And we used to have a couple of couples that used to come in, maybe one especially used to come once a month, a man and a woman. They order a couple Cokes, and they sit in the booth for 2 hours until they finally left. So, we didn't know what was going on. We just served them, and that's all. We didn't pay any attention to them. But that was during the day when the booths were empty, so we didn't care. At night, it was a different story. At night, the booths were always busy, especially in the summertime, very busy. You used to put 4, 6, 8 people in a booth. And like Sam says, at that time, when they changed the store around, they added booths around the walls. And they had about 2 or 3 tables in the center. And they were practically all busy in the summertime.
Good. Oh,
Beautiful.
some
Very
good,
fascinating.
some great stories. Yeah, I'd heard about the ice cream packing. I had forgotten about that.
Yeah, I remember Max was talking about that.
Yeah.
California. Is that what
Oh,
it
that
is?
was-
Okay.
wasn't there.
That was later.
That was later.
Huh?
Moved to California just like this year?
They went, but that was. they
No,
went-
no, no,
That
no.
was when your mother was
Okay.
sick, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
No, they took a vacation after I quit working. See, I quit in 37. And after I left work, I forget whether it was 37 or 38, Max and Nate and Minnie took a vacation. Where was Max? Max had gotten married already, I think. And Max had left the store too, because he went in business for himself. And they went for the vacation, so I had to come and run the store for a week. And that's when I saw my wife's sister. I was
That's it. That's it.
She
Now
came, huh?
Now we have the real story.
Well, I was dating Nettie, and sister wanted to know who was dating her sister. So she took the bike over to the store to check me over. That was in the summertime. Oh, that must have been, yeah, when do the fish flies come out?
May,
May.
June flies. May.
No, you
May or
mean
June.
up in,
All right. When
That's okay.
okay, go ahead.
the fish flies used to come up, we used to have a devil of a time because the lights were on in the windows, and they used to just on the glass. It was all full of fish flies, and that's about the time when her sister came over. I think I went outside to wash the windows that night because you practically couldn't see outside, and that was the last time I worked at the store. There was that one time that I think they went away for 2 or 3 days or something, a wedding or something. I forget where it was, and I had to take over and manage the store for a while. And that was that had to be in '38. After I left, and that's about it.
Okay.
Any questions?
I think
How do you do? Did you pass?
Sure
Oh,
did.
it was
good. It's good
interesting.
flavor, especially to hear it
The
from.
only time I worked there was during my last,
Just, you worked there just a year or so.
not
Yeah,
even
it
a
just-
year, I was there, I think about 6 months.
About 6 months or so, right?
His standard supper for him was fried hamburgers. You can't get this guy to eat hamburgers all anymore. He has an overdose of it.
Right.
Fried hamburger.
Yeah, he won't eat hamburger at all anymore.
Fried hamburger or hot fried liver? Both.
Sounds
Huh?
horrible. Both
Well,
sound
she-
horrible.
Well,
But
she
she
didn't
was-
have time to do anything
She was
else.
working, so
She
she
was
had to do
working.
things that were fast.
Right.
That's what they used to feed him.
All right.
What about the steak?